All right, Tyson, thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
We got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna try not to cut you off too much. But let's just start with your background. You've got a crazy, interesting background that led you into real estate. But tell me about baseball, rodeo, how you got started with that, and then transition it into what you do now.
I grew up in Hanford, California. Kind of a small town. Played sports. I played football, basketball, and baseball all the way through high school. But the first thing that I actually did was team roping. I grew up on a small ranch in Hanford. Both of my parents, had horses, rodeoed, trained horses specifically for the team roping. So that was the first thing I knew how to do. Had a rope in my hand, riding a horse.
So you were one of those kids getting drug around like by the sheep when you were little and just started there.
Yeah, like the mutton. But it's actually funny. I
don't know what it's called.
My mom would actually tie me to a tree so I wouldn't get into stuff as they were, trying to train horses and out there working, right? Because you still have to work and, couldn't really, afford babysitters and nannies and things like that. You got to work, you got your kids. So what do you do? So, like the mutton busting, I don't think I ever mutton busted. I was a little bit probably too big for that and kind of too scared. I was kind of scared of like the sheep and stuff. But, that was the first thing that I grew up doing was, roping, riding. My dad was very talented with a rope. He's talented with everything. He's one of those guys that's just good at everything.
Yeah,
right.
And I feel like all of our dads are. It's like, dude, why are you good at everything? I
know, and he doesn't age. He's still doing it now. So
yeah, I hate it. I got more grades than my dad. I'm like, dude, what's happening?
He's man, our dad's blessed. And then my mom was one of the best female horse trainers. Horse trainers in general in the area, and California was kind of like the hub of like the team roping here in the Central Valley. Everything's kind of moved towards Texas and like Arizona. It's a little bit harder to have that Western lifestyle in the state of California. Although the Central Valley is a little bit different, but
we're
it used
much
to be like
than all California. We don't get enough credit here. Everyone just thinks of L.A. and San Francisco.
We have the ag. We grow all the food. Hardworking people, farmers, good people here.
We produce amazing wrestlers, baseball players. Like athletes. A lot comes out of California, but now we're just
a lot comes out of the Central Valley. And the Central Valley doesn't get as much credit, right? With athletes and things like that. So team roping rodeo was huge in California. Then it started to migrate to other states, and we stayed. So that was the first thing that I kind of grew up doing, and I was pretty decent at it to start because my parents were kind of like the upper echelon of like the team roping community, I guess. Even though we didn't really grow up with much, my mom was a bus driver just so that she can have the benefits and the retirements to be able to do it. But their main source of income was horses, training horses, kind of like flipping horses. Get a horse that somebody else didn't really like. It's a huge business
for some families.
Oh man, and they were good at it. So that's
before Yellowstone got cool.
Before Yellowstone,
before it got cool and everyone wanted to do it. I'm gonna invest.
Exactly.
It's like never mind. I'm getting out of that business.
Oh man, I was the opposite of Yellowstone because how you have like these city people now wearing country and stuff. I was the opposite.
Boots everywhere at rodeo and then back to their Chucks and Nikes.
And they have no idea what they never been to rodeo. I was the opposite. I grew up like rodeo and knew everything, ranching, branding, gathering, being out, doing all the cowboy stuff. Even though I don't say I'm a cowboy because I'm not. I can do that stuff.
But you can. So you're like, I'm good.
Yeah. But then like I wore sneakers. I played sports. I like hip hop music. I liked the big city stuff. I could do this, but I would wear Jordans and if I had them at the time.
If someone asks you a question, you got the lingo, how it all works. It's like, whoa, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah, it was different. So that's what I grew up doing, and I actually grew up with a lot of my friends around like the roping community. They actually went on to go to the National Finals Rodeo to become some of the best cowboys in the world as far as like competing.
Yeah,
I went a different path, and it's something that I'm so forever grateful for. I had two amazing parents, and they kind of saw there's kind of like a limitation when it comes to like the rodeo community, right? Like you can reach the peak, and it's not even anywhere close to NBA, NFL, or entrepreneurship and business. You rope, and if you don't make it to the finals, then you become like a horse trainer, like horseshoer, show horses. But it's a very limited kind of like space. Although now it's kind of growing out because you're getting more people to put money into it. Like Yellowstone, Taylor Sheridan has helped that community. But at the time, my parents saw the limited space there, and then saw the possibilities in sports and education and where this can take you.
Yeah.
And one of the things my dad always said was, you can always rope when you're older. You can always rope when you're done.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the coolest things, because here I am now, rodeoing with him. Mm-hmm. So, playing professional baseball for 12 years and then doing exactly what he said is, really cool. Yeah. So they started to kind of
knew it's a different time too. Like, hey, follow this. He was in it. You can always come back to this.
Yeah, because he was in it, right? He saw it, and he didn't have the opportunity to play sports, even though he was, very athletic, very, very talented. My dad dropped out of high school his freshman year. Yeah, like neither of my parents graduated high school, and they're two of the most successful people I know. Yeah. Right? Because success is not where you are, it's how far you've come. Yeah. And where they were and what they've, not only have, but what they've produced with their kids and everything is awesome. Yeah. Right? So
different time back then too. A lot of kids drop out and it's like, you got to go to work. To the farm, work with your dad. You're up at 4 a.m. and
exactly. So like the things that I learned from them, I couldn't have learned from school, and then the things that I learned from baseball, I couldn't have learnned from like any other education. So it all helped. So they saw the possibilities in sports were a little bit better than kind of like the rodeo scene. So I played Little League, Pop Warner, AAU basketball, like. Mm-hmm. Every sport I was there, and then I would show up to roping on the weekend sometimes and just play. Like I had fun, and my parents blessed me with every opportunity. Even though we didn't have much, I always had the opportunity. I had a lot of great coaches and family friends in my life that helped me. Go to the area code games when I was in high school, or go to the perfect game camps.
It's time consuming as the kids get older, and you're like, wow, my parents,
money. And it costs money if both my parents are working, and they couldn't take me to these things. Even though they did everything that they could, it's like I didn't even know about these things. Yeah. But my friend that, had a computer, had the internet, had all this stuff, like, you should try to go to this baseball camp or this baseball camp. And I'm like,
it's even more let's go. Today. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And don't even get me started with today. It's just crazy. Yeah. So they pushed me to play sports, and grew up in Hanford, like I said, small town. Went to Hanford High and actually played football and basketball and baseball, every year there, and had a lot of success playing, and it was fun getting to play all three sports. It's kind of all I knew. Mm-hmm. And then baseball
in the Valley with sports, man. It's like I think we treat our football just like Texas does, but we're not on that scale like Texas. But man, it's kind of religion out here. Certain sports,
the Valley it can get a little bit. Yeah, it can get a little bit. It can get a little bit crazy. Just like anything can get a little bit too much over the top. So, just being athletic and having people help lead that path. I went to Fresno City, then I was drafted out of Fresno City in 2011 by the Houston Astros. Played with them for a little over 7 years, and then played in Chicago for a year. And then actually my last 4 years, I went down and played in Mexico. I played in TJ. Okay. And it was the most fun I've ever had playing baseball.
Really?
Like, yeah, because you think like, oh, you're going down to Mexico. It's like, just think of a soccer game with those fans, like at a baseball stadium. Yeah. I mean, we had, 20, 25,000. They
get riled up for sports down there?
Even if it's not soccer? It's the most fun. It's the most fun time I've had playing baseball.
Wow.
I actually made way more money down there, too, than I did. Like in the minor leagues, especially when I was playing, we didn't make very much money at all. Mm-hmm. Like, you got your signing bonus, but if you didn't get a signing bonus, you were, you had off-season jobs. Some of my teammates actually graduated that they went and subbed in the off-season, or they had like another job, or they went and played winter ball, or they gave lessons. Like the minor leagues didn't pay much, so that they kind of had a saying, you grind in the minor leagues. If you make it to the big leagues, that's like your big payoff. And everything, even though it's not. You only see the top 2%
because you hear that baseball pays the most, but it's like how many? There's a lot of baseball players.
How many of those guys are actually getting paid?
I know you guys play a lot during the year, but also, how many?
Yeah, so if you look like the NBA, they only have 10 to 12 guys on the team. Every person on that team is getting paid, and the top 1 or 2 guys are getting mega paid. Yeah. When it goes to baseball, if you look at every single player that is part of that organization, you have the 25 guys that are on the active roster, then you have the 40-man guys, then you have everybody like in the minor leagues, and that whole organization you might have a couple guys making, $10 million a year.
Wow.
Where in the NBA, that's probably the lowest guy on the team.
Yeah.
Right? So you're looking at 150 to 180 guys, and a couple of them are making good money. The other ones are, kind of like losing money.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to Mexico, that was kind of the first time that I actually made money, and I had a blast playing. TJ has the best setup. It's a little sketchy in Tijuana, right? Yeah. It's not. Yeah, you're kind of. Makes it fun. I think it's the like number 1 or 2 most dangerous cities in the world. And it was there, but I mean, like they take very good care of us.
Yeah,
the majority of us actually lived across the way in San Diego. Imperial Beach is. I was going to say
San Diego. Yeah, they're pretty much connected.
and we would just cross the border every day. Mm-hmm. So I had an apartment on the beach that in one of the best cities in the world. And I would cross the border, go play one of the most fun baseball games you can play, and then cross back.
Yeah, so, be back in an hour and a half, and
it was a blast. And then in 2021, we actually won the World Series.
So do you pay
down there
Mexico taxes, or do you pay California taxes?
California, yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because they pay you straight cash. So when we would get paid, we would walk into this room. They like had the security guards, with like the Brinks trucks and all this, and they would pull out stacks of like hundreds or 20s, whatever, and it would go through. I feel like I was in like a like a drug scene movie.
A couple guys with AKs watching you count it, and
yeah, kind of. It wasn't that crazy, but yeah. So like there's these ladies in there, and they put this stack, and it goes through the counter, and they're like, there's $5,000. Count it again. There's $5,000.
Dang.
And then you go and they give you an envelope and you take it across.
You're like, hey, someone gonna help me walk out with this, or they just shut the door behind you and you're like, hey.
Yeah. So they kind of have like security and stuff.
Nobody's scoping that place out.
There was a couple times where we're crossing the border back into the States, and there's we're in a van that's there's probably 5 to 10 other players going across the border. Everybody has their paycheck in their envelope.
There's 50, 80 grand sitting in that van.
Oh yeah, we're just crossing the border. I mean, it like we're gonna claim everything that we make. So it's not doing anything
sketchy. Bringing it over though in the van. You're like, all right, hopefully we won't get pulled over.
So that was kind of like the sketchiest.
That's funny
part, but yeah, it was fun. Had a blast down there, and then 2021 we won the World Series. And it was the funnest season I've ever had in my life. Dang. Like we had some dudes on the team too. Fernando Rodney, one of the top 5 closers of all time, was our closer. 44 years old, out there just throwing 97. Dang. Just outstanding. Oliver Perez was on our staff. Both of these guys made over $100 million in their career.
Jeez.
Playing in the big leagues, and they're down there.
They're just having fun. They're just like, I want to
play. They were a part of the team. Yeah. Like you would have no idea that these, both these guys played 15 plus years in the big leagues.
And are they like out of shape? 44? No, because you see a couple guys in baseball like out of shape, but they're just athletic freaks. You're like, you never know.
Bartolo Colon was down there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he pitched against us. Big Sexy. Ain't nothing sexy about it.
No, but I was gonna say, some of those guys you underestimate.
But he's good.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah. Like and baseball is a lot more.
I love those guys. Those are my favorite guys.
Yeah, and there's a lot more skill involved in baseball than just pure like athleticism.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've heard that debate with some of my buddies who play baseball. They're like, it's not really like a super athlete thing. They're like, it's more of like a skill technique thing. You either have it or you don't.
And then when you put the super athletes that can pair with those skills, that's where you get some of the best, athletes in the world, because it's super skilled. It's very hard. Not only is it a hard sport to play, is a lot of people don't understand. There's a game every single day. Every single day. It's not a couple times a week and then an off day. Yeah. Like
baseball's
the NBA
all year long with all these private
162
travel
games. And like the NBA is starting to complain they don't like playing back to backs and like this and that. With NBA, you're playing. It's a little bit more, kind of like physical, a little bit more running and all of that. I don't think playing back to backs is tough. But
and the NBA is different now too. They get slapped, they fall, they call foul. Like back when I was younger, man, people were throwing blows, and it was like these guys were hardcore. The NBA is a little different now.
They got different, new rules which everything's supposed to change. Yeah. It's supposed to change for the better. Everything is good. But baseball, you're there every day. Yeah. So not only is it tough on you, like physically in your body every day, but like mentally, like it is a grind.
Traveling and all
it
that.
Is an absolute grind, and I don't really think that grind is like a good word. You hear entrepreneurship and business. Oh, you gotta grind.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. Like I like hustle more. Like you gotta hustle. You gotta grind. Just has like a negative. It's like it almost puts it in a negative context to me.
Like you're being grinded down, but it's like, no, you're just hustling.
And it's just like, and I'm doing this because I have to, because it's part of the grind. Well, no, like you can enjoy it. If you enjoy it, it's not going to be a grind. You know, it's more hustling. Yes, there's going to be,
like you grind in the beginning and then you hustle after that.
Yeah, you're going to have to put in your dues. It's not always going to be, sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be
positive.
You
guys get paid, you're having fun. It's like still being away from family, you're traveling. It
is hard. So that's why like the mental toll in baseball, I think, is a lot more difficult because it's every day. So if you had a bad game, you got to go and do it again tomorrow. You have another bad game, you can get to a slump pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Not only when you have a bad game, you have to answer to the market, kind of quote unquote, the fans, the media.
Yeah.
What is the market saying about this person? Oh, he sucks.
Yeah.
So you're listening to the market.
Always got a bad attitude. It's like maybe he's just burned out that week,
Yeah, and it's tough, and especially in a place like Boston, or New York, you can't just float. They either praise you and you're the best, or you get sunk down.
Yeah.
And it's really hard, and that's why I give so much props to, to Aaron Judge, him doing it in the market that he is, or people like Derek Jeter and like the guys back in the day, that people do not understand how difficult that is to do what Derek Jeter did is almost like doing what Tiger Woods did in golf, winning so much.
Yeah.
Not all the crazy stuff.
But you say one wrong thing and everyone hates because you have all that spotlighted.
And there was never a negative thing said about Derek Jeter.
Yeah, that would be hard to go a whole career. Nothing like nobody hates you for this or a scandal or whatever it is.
And then not only that, one of the most impressive things about Jeter was not the best player. Jeter was not the best shortstop. He was not the best talent.
Oh,
like
okay.
if you look at his stats,
I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know like the basics.
Yeah, like if you look at his stat, and I'm one of the biggest Derek Jeter fans there is. I grew up a Yankees fan because of him, of him, Mariano Rivera, Roger Clemens. And I thought he was, just the best of the best because he was always on TV.
Yeah.
He was always the one that everybody praised and said good things about. That's more impressive.
Dating the beautiful women and just always.
Exactly. That's more impressive than his actual skills. Like to be at the top of the biggest sports market in the world, or the market in general, in like New York City, is the most impressive thing like a human being can do in sports.
Yeah.
Because like Alex Rodriguez played there, a lot of negativity.
Yeah,
Roger Clemens played there, a lot of negativity. Nobody.
Once you hit that
really,
headline, it's like no one forget, or it's kind of.
It's always going to be there, and Alex Rodriguez has kind of turned around his image like a little bit now after his career. But there was a lot of things that he had to deal with that we don't really know about. I know maybe a little bit more, just come from being in it and hearing things, but. The thing that Jeter did is, super impressive every single day. So that's what kind of takes a toll on you in baseball is every day. And then now when you're playing in the, minor leagues, you don't have the luxury of, flying private to the next game. You're on a bus 12, 14 hours going to the next game, and you get there and you've got to play a game. Like the fans don't care that you were just on a 12-hour bus.
You got to make a name for yourself no matter what and get up there.
Exactly. Fans don't care that your arm is a little bit sore. You just, threw 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Right? They don't care about your stats. They don't care that you were an all-star, whatever. They care about what you're going to do for us in that game that we're watching. Right? Yep. There's not really much difference in, professional sports and like the circus or like a country singer or a concert. Like your job is to entertain.
Yeah.
And how do you entertain in sports? You win. And if you don't win, they're gonna hate you. So you do whatever you can to be the best that you can be to win.
Yeah.
Because if you're not,
take a nap later. These people
aren't going to go to the game to watch losers.
You don't want to hit the headline with something negative that day.
No. So like the entertainment aspect is there. Like professional sports is a business just as much as selling Coke like at the games or selling whatever. You have to get the market out there. You have to get people to pay to put their butt in the seats to buy the subscriptions, to buy the uniforms. If your team sucks, owner's not making money.
Yeah.
If your team's
great,
and
one person can make the whole team look bad and ruin a whole season,
or look great.
Yeah.
The people like Derek Jeter, people, like Monty. People want to go. People would fly across the country to go see Derek Jeter. Mm-hmm. And then when they're good, it's even better because now you can charge more per ticket.
Yep.
If you're bad, people aren't going to want to go to the games. You're kind of losing money. Yeah. So there is that business aspect behind sports that we see, and I see sports completely different because I understand that aspect more. It kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit. So then, kind of full circle, when I went to Mexico, all that was gone. It was just fun. And my team was, all guys like me, Americans that, played in the minor leagues over here, played in the big leagues. We're just down there playing. So, like, if you went in our locker room, nobody's really speaking Spanish. You would think, like, people think, like, what's the show? Eastbound and Down.
Oh,
people think of
KP,
Kenny Powers. Yeah, people think of that when they think of like Mexico, and it's not. Very.
That's hilarious.
Very professional. A lot of our games are on ESPN. Yeah. They bring the whole crew.
You guys aren't coming out drunk and all that. It's like, no, you're not.
It's a really really.
Yeah, because you say Mexico, you think party time and.
Oh yeah, it is. Like the fans are getting after it, but they want you to win.
Yeah,
and if you don't win, they're going to let you know.
You guys.
Yeah, exactly. So, 2021, we won the World Series. It's the most fun I've ever had, and it was also the end of the season was probably the craziest 6 weeks of my life because my wife was pregnant with our first child at the time. So she was with me down there in San Diego, all pregnant, and then once the playoffs started and once kids started to get back in school, we didn't have kids yet, but kind of most of the family kind of just goes home.
Yeah.
So she went home there and the playoffs started, and that year playoffs were 4 rounds. So you had to beat, 4 teams to get to the championship. So that whole entire time, I've got my phone with me at any time just in case. Yeah. Hey, I got to get on a flight, I got to go back, or I've got to go get in my car and drive up. That was a nice thing about being in San Diego. I could just drive up. So we went and played, won the first series, won the second series, won the third series to go to the championship, and my wife still hasn't had the baby. So we now have starting a 7-game series, and I'm like, at any time she can go. And playing in that championship game, my daughter was born Tuesday morning, 5 a.m. Game 7 of the World Series was Wednesday night.
Oh my God.
So I was there for the birth of my daughter. And she was in labor for 3 days. Went in on a Sunday.
Jeez.
Was born on Tuesday. I hadn't slept in 3 days.
Gosh, yeah.
And then now we have a newborn.
Oh, you can't go to sleep or you're in trouble.
I'm there.
She's like, if I'm up, you're up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So then, I got a little bit of sleep Tuesday night. Woke up, drive down to San Diego, went straight to the stadium, did BP, played the game. We ended up winning that game, and we actually came back from 3 games to none. So we had lost the first 3 games of the season. Oh, so if we lose any other one, we're done. So we win game 4, win game 5, win game 6. So now it's tied.
Yeah.
And then game 7. So we play game 7, we win. Partied all night. We just came back 3-0, won the World Series, and a lot of guys are excited. Number one, we win, which is cool, but they give you a really big bonus for winning. Mm-hmm. So we're like, we just got paid more. So celebrate all night, get in the car the next day.
And now you got suitcases coming over the border.
I got my money. To you. Exactly. And then, coming home to a brand new baby. Mm-hmm. We just moved into our house at the time too. So I had a brand new baby, the house, just won, it was a whirlwind. Like it took probably a couple weeks to come down to
settle in.
I don't think I've really ever come down because we had another kid. We had a back-to-back, and then I got in the real estate business, and
the hustle just continues. It just doesn't stop.
It's been wild since then. But yeah, 2022, I played again, and it was fun to have my kid out there, kind of watch me, even though she's not going to know what was going on. It's for me to have had them out there.
Yeah. Whole new chapter in life at that point.
Yeah, and it was it was fun. Mexico was it was a blast, and some of my best friends, to this day, I met down there. A couple of them are still in the big leagues now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got One of my really good buddies, Brennan Bernardino, he's with the Rockies. He got signed in, I think, 22, my last year there, and got signed by Seattle, played in the big leagues there. Then he was with the Red Sox, and now he's with the Rockies. He's been in the big leagues the last 4 years.
Wow. Do they have kids? Because I imagine that'd be tough.
He does, but he's a little bit older. Oh, so they had kids young.
Got it.
But now he has his son there that, he should be getting pretty close to high school now.
Oh, okay.
So he has, he's raising a man he gets to take to the field, he gets to watch his dad be a professional baseball in the biggest stadium.
Yeah,
not very many people get that, right? Yeah. Because you typically have kids like late 20s, early 30s. Like your playing career. If you make it to your late 30s,
yeah.
So your kids are going to be like 4 or 5. There's not very many.
Not too old.
There's not very many people that are going to have kids in their early 20s or even like teenagers. I think they had him as a teenager.
Wow.
That now his son is getting to watch him play on the biggest stage in the world and actually knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Knows like the magnitude of what he's
that's pretty cool.
So
probably
that's
really
cool.
Rough back then while trying to play baseball, but now you're in the big leagues and you're like, oh, my kid's 15, 16 and they can be. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Probably rough in the beginning. What do you think about baseball for your kids or sports or? I mean, especially going forward. I mean, my wife and I talk about it all the time with AI. What jobs are going to be left? Where are you pushing your kids hard for sports or?
You know what? The saying.
How do you guys balance? Because you're an entrepreneur. Like, what's your balance right now with that and your kids now?
It's funny because before you have kids, the people that have kids are always telling you, "Oh, you'll know when you have kids," or it changes you. This you don't understand before you have kids, and then when you have kids, they're little babies. Once they start playing sports, then it changes even more. So it's funny. I always said that I would never coach my kids. I wanted, I would help them, but I wanted them to learn from somebody else. Yeah. I'm not going to put them on a team that doesn't have a good coach because I know what a good coach is, right? I always said I wouldn't coach my kids. But it's tough when they don't have
a good coach, though, and you got to step in a little bit.
Yeah, which I feel like that's good. You kind of need to learn what's good and bad and, see what people are saying and be able to learn for yourself, even as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So I always said I would never coach my kid, and here I am coaching 3 and 4-year-old t-ball.
Oh,
and 3 and 4-year-old soccer.
Now you got the whole team, not just your kid.
Never played soccer. It was the only sport I didn't play was soccer, and I'm coaching 3 and 4-year-old soccer. Yeah. Probably the only level
I can teach the basics at that point, but as they get older, I'm going to let my kid, his wrestling, football.
So I always said I would never coach my kids, and I kind of always said that, if they wanted to play sports, I would help them and I would push them, but I wouldn't force them into. I wouldn't make them.
Yeah.
And then now the older I get, and to see how important sports is to a kid, not only mindset and growth, but to teach you about life, teach you about being part of a team, to teach you about failures and struggles, and to not be a victim, and to understand that you're in control of every single thing that happens to you, whether that's good or bad. Right? If you win, great. If you lose, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever you did wrong, it's your fault you lost. It's also your fault why you won.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that sports teaches
or the team, but that comes with communication. That comes with everything. But that just builds a person.
Yes, but then if you have that thing, okay, what can I have done better?
Yep.
Could I have been a better teammate? Could I have showed my catch partner something different to help him in that game? Right? If you have that mindset, you're going to be successful in anything that you do. And sports just has a way of naturally teaching that.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that sports are very important, and my kids will play sports, but I'm not going to force them or make them. Right? I'm going to sign them up and say, you're going to go and you're not going to quit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really forcing, but I just know the importance of it. Now, my kids are, growing up here, they're going to go to Clovis schools. It's a little more competitive. It's a little harder to play multiple sports here than it was in small town Hanford.
Yep.
So
Clovis is very compared to some of these kids are super athletic, and if they're not, then their parents will pay for private. Like you're going against. I mean, these high school. I go watch high school, or even just 7th and 8th grade. I'm like, these kids are so much better than what we were in high school already. It's crazy, like how advanced they are already.
And, yeah, because they have the resources that others might not.
Professional weight rooms, you're like, this is nuts.
It is, and some of it could be hindering a little bit. You know, like so I think that I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't grow up in a small town. Like, I grew up with
competition's insane, but Clovis makes sure that they do pull really good coaches, and I mean that's why people move to come to Clovis.
So I was very lucky because I was from a small town, but I played on all of like the travel teams and all-star teams with these guys. Yeah. So I was playing on the baseball teams and travel teams with all the kids from Clovis.
Well, you were used to competition everywhere at that point.
Yeah. So I did play.
That's hard to do in a small town.
I did play in school, in Hanford, but I was playing with these guys. I was their teammate at the same time. Mm-hmm. So that actually helped me a lot. So I don't know if my kids are going to be able to do the multiple sport thing like I did, but I think one of the most important things a young athlete can do or a parent can do is play multiple sports. I think the worst thing you can do.
What you're good at.
I think the worst thing you can do is just play one sport and devote all your time and resources to that one sport.
Yeah.
Like you have kids, now they're just, they're training for baseball and trying to make it to the big leagues when they're 8 or 9 years old. First of all, the numbers aren't in your favor. They're just not. Like you have a less than 0.1% chance to make it to the big leagues or make it to the NBA.
Especially nowadays, I feel because YouTube and just all there's these kids that they're already stars. I mean, especially now with my kid's obsessed with flag football. He wakes up with a football in his hand, and I'm like, that's a good sign. But I tell him, he's like, Daddy, you think I can play these flag football in college and NFL? I'm like, and I tell him, I go, there's a less than 1% chance, right? And he looks at me like, what? Yeah. I go, I'm going to be straight with you now while you're 8. So you realize, so you're not down on yourself if you don't make it to the NFL. Because there's these kids that are already superstars. It's wild.
I think you need
I tell him that, and he works harder though. And I'm like, that's a good sign. I tell him things like that, and he's like, Dad, can we go practice more today? I'm like, wow, he didn't take it. He took it as competition when I said that.
He took it the right way. Exactly. And I think in order to be successful at anything, I think that you need to have a little delusion. Mm-hmm. I think you do. Like me as a kid,
you got to have a little Conor McGregor in you. That's like, I can do this, but not too over the top.
Yeah, because like some people are going to look like, oh, I have a less than 1% chance. Why even try?
Yeah.
That's what most people are going to do.
Yeah.
Versus like, this is how I was. I see somebody's doing it on TV playing. Why can't I?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what I grew up with. Mm-hmm. The only thing we had on TV was sports. I'm watching Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
I'm watching Kobe. So I'm looking at these people doing it, like, why can't I? Nobody told me that I had a less than 1% chance, to do it. I just thought that's what I want to do. I'm good at it. What do I have to do? Work hard? Okay. I think if somebody would have told me that I had a less than 1% chance, I might have stopped. Yeah. I don't know, because I just thought that's what I want to do and that's what I can do.
Yeah.
It also was a little bit different for me because that's what I thought success was at the same time, right? That's when I watched TV, what I thought success and to have money and to be somebody was you either sports or like a hip hop, like entertainer or like an actor. Yeah. That's what I thought success was. I didn't know, like about entrepreneurship or owning a business or being a good dad or being a good husband or being good in your community of like what success actually is.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
a lot of the skills come from sports. Just communicating, learning how to like rally everyone up. When you're down a couple and everyone's like down, you got to pick everyone up. It's like it all comes from sports when you really think about it, especially at a young age, learning how to work, communicate, keep, even when you're losing, I assist with the flag football right now for my kids' teams. And, when you see, and my son's already learning that, when everyone's down a couple points and he's like, come on, guys, that does it. All the kids are down. I'm like, that's a leader right there. And I didn't even teach him that. He just sees it from the other coaches or other kids, yelling and pepping each other up. I'm like, dude, that's, if you don't have to go pro, just that into your adult life is going to help you so much, learning those little basics when you're young, having that confidence to be like, no, we're going to finish this.
It's going to help. Yeah. It's going to help. Yeah. Sports is going to teach you more than any business class, finance class, psychology class. You're not like I learned more just, from the experience of, traveling the world, going to other countries, speaking to other people, getting like their perspective, like how like the weather's different. Like I
balancing your finances when bonuses and getting paid.
Balancing your finances when you didn't make any money in the minor leagues.
But you see these NFL guys and NBA, they're going broke, and you're like, how did you go broke? You signed $100 million. It's like,
to be honest, I think it's more of the system that makes them broke than their actual spending habits, because they're paying, like first of all, however much they're making, they're getting half of it. Yeah. And then now they have their agent fees, they have their management fees. If they do, have, like a publicist, or like they're paying all of these people. Just like everybody wants to charge, something. We see it in our business, right? Yeah. Like you want to give as much value as possible. And if somebody's going to pay you a lot of money for what you do and you do it well, as long as you're giving a lot of value. Yep. But then there's people that don't. Like they charge what they charge and they don't give you value. So if that agent or that manager is not making that person better to in turn make more money, they're just kind of sucking money out of them. Yeah. Right? So the system is set up for these mega athletes that are making the money to not really be financially stable or sound or educated. Because they have people that'll handle that for them. They don't need to worry. I have a financial advisor; he takes care of it. I have a manager; he takes care of it. Well, what are you learning? Like, how are you doing on your own? Like, what are you going to do when you're done? Like
taxes, the culture, the cars, you're keeping up with the Jones. It's like before you know it, you hear these guys are broke, and you're like, that's crazy.
Yes, and that's exactly right, because and then like
taking care of family, friends, whatever,
and like the fan sees it also. Oh, how did he blow that money? How did he $10 million? You know what I can do with $10 million? That's the most ignorant thing in the world. For like $10 million is a lot of money, but then it's not at the same time. $100 million is a lot of money, but then it's not at the same time.
To some people, it's not.
Like what? Yeah, what is it? What are we looking at? Or do you just want like a house and a family and put your kids in a good school and just do this? Yeah, $1 million is you. Probably good. Yeah. Do you want to live here and have like multiple homes and have your kid, do this and have multiple cars and a jet, own horses, own a ranch? $1 million ain't going to do.
That's a lot of overhead. That's only going to last you a couple of years.
So it's like, what do you want with your life? Yeah. Like what brings you joy?
Are any of these assets making you money? And that's when you start thinking like an entrepreneur instead of just a consumer at that point.
And then at the end of the day, what do you want? What is success for you? Is it the house with the family and a job? Great. Is it, 6 figures coming in a month? Is it, owning a private jet? Is it making $1 billion company? If that's what it's not for everybody. If this is for you, then that $1 million is not going to stretch very far. Yeah. Right. But like it's
more
what
in the context
just means
of more time and less.
More money, more problems. Yep. Right. Like
it's a balance.
So these athletes get all this money. And then the consumer thinks that they're dumb and they just spent it. They see $10 million. He's making $10 million a year, which he's probably walking away with 2 or 3 after everything's paid for.
That's why a lot of athletes hate playing in California, because you pay all those taxes.
And then now you have that keeping up with the Jones lifestyle, even though it's not you. You're still around these people. You might not like the fancy bags and the watches that you're spending money on, but you're going to dinner with these people. Right, your kids are associated with their kids if you have kids when you're playing. So there's almost like a minimum
private schools, and it just keeps going up.
Yeah.
And up and up.
So now there's like a minimum of what you have to put out. Yeah. So it's almost like them making $3 million a year is almost like somebody that has a business that they're making $200,000 or $300,000 a year. That it's very comparable, even though it sounds like, oh man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. It's $3 million. I can do what with $3 million? But like when you look at the margins and the ratios,
$100,000 a year just for their lifestyle.
Yeah. So for them to live in that, they might have a mortgage of $10,000, $15,000 when yours is $3,000. Yep. Right? Yes, there's people that there's ways that you can save money.
A lot of business owners that I work with, some of them went under during COVID. because they still are like, well, if it's not coming in, and then you got insurance and you got the rent and you've got all these employees and your payroll's $50,000, and then for some people they still haven't really quite learned how to balance that. And I think COVID was a huge lesson for a lot of people. I think COVID was good and bad in certain ways, because a lot of people are going, okay, I have to learn how to budget better. I have to be ready for a huge rainy day. I got to be ready for the government to tell us whatever's happening. And, I got this overhead. I've got 30 employees. And so that was a huge wake up call. But that's a lot of athletes don't get that wake up call until it's too late, probably.
True. Yeah, very true. Because,
unless you're talking to an older guy who's like, hey, you better slow down. This is what happened to me back in the 90s.
Or unless you had the family with the parents that, kind of set you up and taught you that. But
because I've seen some, I don't know to what extent they're going, but I've seen some stuff on YouTube where like they bring like advisors in now to talk to, hey, you guys just signed these contracts. Like I think college guys, I think like they're coming in now and teaching them a little bit about taxes and your manager, and don't go blow it all in one.
Yeah, and we had all that, right?
Okay.
Like spring training, it's you're getting ready for the season, you're playing, but you have tons of meetings.
But nobody's listening. They're like, give me my money.
Yeah, or they're like, oh, I'll worry about this when I make it to the big leagues and have money.
Sweet, go buy a truck. Yeah.
Yeah, like so it's. And it's always like, oh, that'll never come, or that'll never happen to me, or that's like down the road.
The money will always come in and you blow out your knee and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, so it is a little. I think just like the fans have a very limited knowledge of what the athlete is actually going through.
Yeah.
Like they think we're all making $10 million a year, and this when very few are.
Yeah.
And they're just normal average people that are living the same exact life as you. They just have somebody watching them do their job, right? Like when you're going to work, nobody's watching you. Like
it looks fancier on TV, but you're like, but you don't know what it took to get here. We've had no sleep. I just had a kid. And I still got to win today. We just see it's like people watch, like they just want to see the knockout.
Yeah,
people watching boxing, they don't know care what it took to get there. Yeah.
Nor should they, right? Like a dad's taking his two kids after
like
he
you said, you're an entertainment.
Exactly. After he just put in 40 hours of work, he just spent $100 on a ticket, $150 on a ticket to take his kid.
Got the flights, got the hotel, got
might
everything.
Be the only game that these kids get to go to for the year.
Yeah, that was whatever. Disneyland at that point.
Exactly. So like, you better show up and you better play good, right? Like they don't care, nor should they care that you're a little bit tired. You didn't sleep good last night. Your hands
you're
a little
athlete,
bit tight.
You guys probably get masseuses and the best food.
You have to be smart at the same time. As a player, you don't want to risk injury and then put your team, at risk, being out for the season or something like that. And I was never like that great of a player. Like I'm not the heart and soul of the team. I'm just saying these guys that are making $30 million a year that everybody says they should play every game. You don't want to risk injury to ultimately hurt your team at the same time. But if a dad's bringing his kids, maybe you don't know what the situation is. Maybe the mom's out of the picture now and he's doing this. Like, that kid wants to see their favorite athlete play and play well.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at stats like, oh man, like he didn't sleep last night. He's had a couple bad games. That's their biggest moment.
Yep.
So show up and do the best that you can for them, because they don't care, nor should they care.
Yeah.
So that's
because it is a blessing at the end of the day to be in that position, even though it is hard.
Yes.
But I think that's where we were talking a little bit before, that's where it goes right into entrepreneurship once you leave the game, and then family and life, and it's like, okay, how am I going to balance this? And that goes right into becoming a dad, basically, which is now the next biggest sport of your life. And it's going to take just as much time, and you're going to be tired, and kids are sick, and you're going to get 2 hours of sleep, but you still got to go show the house. They don't care. You got to show up.
Nobody cares, and nor should they care.
That's going to be the title of this video. Nobody cares.
I know. Yeah. And people do care. I'm not saying that, but it's not their problem.
Yeah.
People got other problems they got to deal with.
Yeah.
And nor do I care about their problems. Like, I will help people. Of course, we're in the industry of helping.
Yeah.
But like, some things are just not my job, nor they're your job, nor that person's job, right? It kind of goes back to the Patriots, like, do your job.
Yep.
And that's why the Patriots were so successful. They focused on what their job was, and each individual player did their job to the best of their ability. Now, if you have a team which every single person is doing their job to their best ability. How good is that team? Versus one person worrying about if that person's going to do their job or this and that, micromanaging.
Got all these weak links in the chain, and now it's like pull snap.
Exactly. So that's something that, you know, sports, as you know, as we kind of bring it around, like my kids are going to play sports. They already are. And, you know, I'm lucky that I have 2. Yes.
Boy and a girl, or
boy and a girl. Girls 4, boys 3.
Okay.
So this is their kind of first year, you know, getting into sports. And, you know, I was very blessed. You know, my wife was a college athlete. You know, my kids are going to have, you know, a little bit more talent than others.
Easier in the household when 2 people come from an athletic background.
And then easier in the household when my wife's like, we don't care. At the same time, like when you kind of have that mindset, like, you know, we're not coddling our kids, but we're not making them do, you know, crazy stuff at the same time. Yeah. Like they're going to learn and grow. And I was a person that learned by example. You know, like I was a visual learner. If I saw somebody doing something, I would just mimic them and do it. And that's how my kids are. Like my daughter, we were at softball the other day, and or not softball, baseball, t-ball, and you know, we're doing like these base running and stuff, and she's running and slides at home plate, like the best slide I've ever seen.
Where'd you see that?
Yeah, and then my wife asked me.
I didn't even show you that.
Yeah, my wife after practice asked me, "Did you teach her how to slide?" I said, "No." How'd she know?
DNA.
You? And she's like, "I had no idea how she just did it." Like that's just kind of like how my kids they're gonna have my, you know, kind of goods and bads. Yeah. Right.
At that point, were you thinking she's a natural? She's already got it. Because you know, when you're out there, like I assist with like the kids flag football right now. Yeah. And there's just always, out of like the 10 kids, there's always like those 3 where you're like, they got it. They're gonna go pretty far to high school. We'll see what. But then the other kids are learning. But you can always see 2 or 3 where you're like, that kid's athletic.
Yeah, nice. She's the best on our team for sure. But she's a little bit more, little like more you know, more mature than everybody. Like she's really, really smart. You know, like she's reading, knows all of her letters. Her mom's a teacher, so she you know helps. And
I've noticed that the more athletic ones, even at 7, 8 years old, they're more tuned in.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why they just. Some kids are just watching the ball, and then there's ones that are just focused, and you're like,
and that's her.
Yeah,
she's focused. My son, on the other hand,
noticed that.
Is an absolute animal. He's full boy. Yeah, he's only 3, and he'll get there. But they're
the funnest to watch. They fight for the ball. You're like, you're on the same team. Like,
I try to get him to listen during a game or practice. Is impossible.
Yeah,
he's full boy, bouncing off the walls. Probably, you know, he's gonna be very athletic. But he's
got to zone it in, and then
if we ever get him. So my kids are complete opposites.
The energy is there.
Yeah, my daughter's dialed in, focused. She knows, very smart. My son is, you know, one of the soccer games, he was off playing football with the other kids.
Yeah,
like, dude, we're playing a game. Like, what are you doing?
Kicking the soccer ball, throwing the football, just going.
One I don't have to worry about. The other one, if he's out of our sight, we got to figure out where he is, because he's going to be jumping off or something. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
my kids always, we put him in karate starting at like 3, 3, 4, 5. If you don't watch him, he was just trying to like take someone down or body someone. We're like, hey, chill. You know, and the other kid's like, what's he doing? You know, just trying to like grab someone. You're like, all right.
Yeah, we were thinking, we're trying to put him
backfired.
We're trying to put him like the ninja classes.
Yeah,
because like gymnastics is so good for athleticism. Yep, but they don't. Maybe boys might want to do, you know, like gymnastics, so they just call it ninja. They're just running around doing flips and stuff.
My buddy Mark runs one of those. We had our kid in those for a couple of years with him, and it's at Doc's gym.
Yeah.
Oh man, he sets it all up. You get the full gym for an hour. They're doing like Navy SEAL training basically. Yeah. They're climbing the wall, and I was like, are they going to be able to get? And he was like, they better figure it out, because and if they don't, then like the other kids help them, and I'm like,
that's good.
Wow,
that's really good. Yeah, Doc's
and that was like pushing the sleds. I feel like it really transitioned into sports, because now, like, even just hearing the whistle, all the kids line up, and you're like, the first day they're just animals, no one's listening.
Yeah,
they're off throwing the ball, lifting weights. You're like, hey, put those down, you know. Yeah. But then after just that first week, they're in line, they're ready to run, they're climbing the ropes, and you're like, okay, these especially for the boys, you're like, they just need to learn to focus, like, and they respond to the whistle very well. To the point where, like, I was like, I need to get a whistle for home, because that's like the only thing he stops for and like listens for, you know.
No, the ninja, shoot, Doc, he's the man. He's actually the first chiropractor I ever went to.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was young. We didn't have anything growing up. I didn't know what a chiropractor was.
Yeah.
And then I would train at Athletic Performance right there on Clovis, and Doc was part of that.
Yeah.
Part of that gym. And then I was lifting one time. We were doing squats or something, and I just felt like this thing in my back.
Yep.
I was like, gosh, dang. And he saw me. He's like, "What's up?" And it's like, "I don't know. I got this like tightness in my back." And, and he's like, "Oh, let me see." He's like, "Oh, you got a rib out." I was like, "What?"
That's what happened to me. Yeah. It was wrapping around, and I had pain for years, and he just kept pushing on it every time.
So then he said that, and he's like, "Come on, I got you."
You take a breath, and you're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. So then he went in and like adjusted and fixed it.
And he's got he can feel like I remember him pushing on mine, and all of a sudden he was like right there, and I was just like, "Oh my god." He was like, "Yeah, I can feel it," and he just kept pushing it for a couple weeks. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have came here years ago.
yeah, he's the man. Yeah, ex Navy SEAL. He's
still shredded at like 60 something.
I know. He did a competition.
Yeah,
like a senior bodybuilding competition or something.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Guy. Mark's he's a pretty big guy. He's like the calisthenic guy there. But I think they used to have a podcast too. But yeah, Mark, he does insane. He's built like a bodybuilder. Yeah. But he does like the backflips he does like the bar star stuff. Wow. And so he runs a lot of kids programs. And I always tell my friends, like, no matter what sport your kid's going to be in, if they can run, jump, do the crazy tires without falling, I was like, their eye coordination, all that stuff. I was like, it's just going to make them such a better athlete. You know, he does the bands where they're pulling it. They're doing core stuff. You know, they're doing like a lot of like the bars, like where they have to swing their body and catch a bar. I'm like, that's hard. You know, so if they can do that, whatever sport they go into, I guarantee you they're going to be a little better at that sport just because their body coordination and like that muscle mind connection of just, just being able to perform quicker, better, get off the line, hit the ball better, because especially with baseball, so much technique. And so I always tell people like just get them in anything, but like that ninja training I think is awesome. And then have them in every single sport to really see what they're good at.
I think that's the key too. Is play everything.
Yeah.
Play every sport that you can. Multiple and do it for like as long as you can. Because there was guys that I played with. Try to let them
be a kid as long as they can too. I know some guys that are like. I know of a couple guys, and I'm like, man, you guys are taking this way too serious already at 8 years old. You're gonna burn your kid out. I'm just letting my kid have fun with it. So I guess that's a tough one too.
Yeah, I think it's more a little bit more individual for each player, each person. Everybody's different. So it's hard to cater like to every single person. Mm-hmm. But once like a kid, especially like a young kid or like a man kind of figures out what works for them, then that's because at like the big league level or like even like the minor leagues, you don't really have you don't really have coaches helping you. Like you either have it or you don't. So now it's time to figure out like what works for you. How do you get better? How do you like prepare for the game to ultimately get the result at the end of the game that you want? It doesn't matter that you showed up 5 hours before the game and put in all this work, and then the other guy showed up in 5 minutes and he played the best game of his life. Like it doesn't really matter what you do. The only thing that matters is the result. Now, how you get there and produce the result that you want to produce, everybody's going to be different. Yeah, some people might have to put in the work. Like I've seen some of my favorite teammates that I've ever played with. They super hard worker, in early, did everything right, and he got released when he was in AA. Mm-hmm. Like, and he did everything right that you were supposed to be. That they tell you, son, if you work hard and you do this, you will make it. Like it didn't work out. And that's the kind of crappy thing about sports. You can do everything right and be the best at when you go, and still not make it. And it's
genetically
tough.
Sometimes you just
that's like the tough pill to swallow when it gets to professional sports. I believe that yes, if you put the work in, you could make it, high school or college or something. But in order to get to that highest level, you just have to be kind of like, blessed by God to have it. And it sounds bad to say, but it's like, people ask me, like, how do I throw hard? How do I get my kid to throw harder? I'm like,
Either you have the muscle fibers for it or you don't.
Exactly. So it's like, there's things you can do to get better. And I don't want to, I think that, nothing is, impossible or you can do everything. But there's just certain things that are. Like,
you're either built like Mike Tyson at 14 years old or you're not.
Like,
you're not going to the Olympics.
You're either, 6'9" and can jump out of the building and, be super athletic and play basketball. And that was the thing about...
The NBA's not taking me, even if I cry about it. It's like, well, what about equal opportunity? They're like, we don't need you.
At that level. Right? Like, that's because you're taking people's money at this. Like, you just have to put the best person at the right time. But that's the kind of tough thing about sports. And I don't really... Honestly, I don't really give my opinion too much about sports. Like, it's just... you do with your kid what you want to do with them, and I can get advise some things, but to get to that level, there's a lot of luck involved. And one of my good friends says, "Well, luck is just when preparation meets opportunity." And yes, it is. You have to work, but there's some things.
But then you get in high school and some kid walks on the field first year of football, and you're like, what just happened?
and I played with those guys.
I played with guys that feeling going, oh, this is a genetic contest at the end of the day.
Or like I played with guys didn't start playing baseball until their senior year of high school. And they're playing in the big leagues. And then you have that kid that played travel ball all year and had a trainer since he was 9 years old and worked his butt off. Didn't even get drafted. So it's like there's just things that and at the same time, that person that made it to the big leagues and has all this money, they might not be happy. Probably not. And they probably don't see themselves as, successful. Because more problems come with that. Like, that person can have all the money and be the best baseball player in the world. He could be a terrible husband or, a terrible dad or a terrible person. There's a lot of them.
So maybe he didn't have to work hard and be in the gym every morning and, respect the other team, be there, communicate. They're just like, hey, I'm the best.
But some what guys we see that person is successful. They have it all figured out. We only see the best of them on, TV or part of the game. Social media brings a little bit more negative light to things than it was in the past. In the past, it was like if somebody whoever wrote, for the newspaper, if you did something negative, they're going to paint a picture of how you are.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
and now with Instagram, it's worse. It used to be you had to pick up that paper and be in it. Now you can just be on World Star. Oh, this guy was an asshole to his team, and they say he's mean to the stats. Like, oh my gosh!
But then now at the same time, with social media, you have a voice as well. Back then, what were you going to do? You're gonna try to find another
publish a paper on your own.
No, so now you can pull out your phone and tell the story of what actually happened. Back in the day, you couldn't. So there's positives and negatives to everything.
Good and bad. You don't, and then you see some guys get on there like 2 a.m. and you're like, oh, this isn't going to be good.
So the social media thing has changed. It's changed everything. But I mean, like sports is just God-given talent with a lot of work. And a lot of help along the way. Right? You have to have people help you out. You're not going to do it on your own. You're going to work hard by yourself and put in the work, but there's going to be other people that helped you along to get there too.
Well, then you do hear that, someone like the greatest, you hear about them later and they're not the funnest to be around. Like people say, like people that are friends with like Michael Jordan, they're like, don't play anything with him because you're not going to win. And he's going to beat you and he's going to be pissed if you beat him. I'm like,
oh man,
he's probably not the funnest guy to be around, but that's why they are like you said earlier, that confidence of, I am the greatest. You got it. That has to be there.
I got a funny story about Jordan. I never met him, but when we were in spring
and he's just
training,
one of the guys. But you hear it about all the greatest. They're not the funnest guy to be around.
And I think that the reason why he had success in sports, especially basketball, he was like so competitive. Like, he's still so competitive. When we were
everything he does, from what I've heard,
exactly. Everything. So golf especially. So we got to when we were in spring training in West Palm Beach, we got to play a golf course that he was a member at. The owner of the Astros owned this golf course, and Michael Jordan was a golf course. He was a member at this course, and so we had our caddy that we would go and play, and he's telling us about cool things and this and that, and we're like, wow, this is great. And we asked him about Michael Jordan, like, have you ever caddied for Michael Jordan? And he goes, no, he has his own guy, but like I caddy in his group. Often, every now and then he's in his group. And then so we're asking how he was, like, how is he? He's, oh, he's cool. How's his golf game? Is he good?
Yeah.
Like, he's all right. And he goes, man, but his greatness comes out in the greens. Wow. Or like whenever there's like a big opportunity or a big putt, it's like he's like, man, like
the freak athlete comes back out.
Yeah. And it's just like there'll be like a like a putt that he has. It's like a $30,000 putt that like he needs to make, and he'll just drain it. It's like he's like the most clutch. So
because they can dial in.
He's just focus. Like so competitive that's what and he's like he doesn't win every time, but he's like this. He's just like the most clutch human being I've ever seen. And then it comes back to him being like so competitive, and like you said, being able to like focus and like dial in and be like, I'm
just block everyone out and just that focus.
Yeah, and there's some people that just have like that. I remember Will Smith had a saying that, like if like him and another person get on a treadmill or something, he's like, I will die before I get off this treadmill.
Yeah.
Like that's like like competitive. I think like being competitive, you can get it a little bit, but you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like if like you have a kid that cries when they lose or something, like that's good. Like you have
they care. They're not like, all right, whatever, let's go get pizza.
Yeah, like if they're being like a tyrant and they're throwing stuff, like you got a problem. But if they cry when they lose because they want to win, like that's don't take that out of them.
It's actually a really good point. Like don't come down on them because of that. Oh, get it together. It's like stop and think like, wow, my kid's really taking, like they're only 5 years old, but he's really upset that they lost. He wanted to win today.
And that's something that you either kind of have or you don't.
That's a good point.
Not everybody's competitive. A lot of people hate, competition. They don't want to deal with it. So if your kid has it naturally, I think they kind of, have a leg up a little bit.
Yeah, they've already got that drive internally where they're like, I don't want to lose. I don't, some kids are like, whatever, come back next week. But then there's those couple kids that are like, no. I'm going to go home and practice.
Yeah, I was that kid that cried. When I was a little league, when I would strike out, I'd cry.
Oh, my God.
That's how bad it was. Not,
I was
the embarrassing kid.
Pretty big baby. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So so going into now your career now, real estate, what do you think, from your career and the driver, being an athlete, what do you think like the two biggest things are when it comes to transitioning into an entrepreneur? The grind, the hustle, like everyone say, oh, I'm grinding, I'm hustling. Like what would you say like the top 2 or 3 things that you could take from sports that transitioned into real estate?
So for me personally, what I took from baseball is, a couple sayings. And one was, if you don't like it, play better. There was a saying that we had, like when we were in the minor leagues, because you're complaining about being an A-ball, the facilities suck, you're not making much money. And all the coaches and the Rovers, when they would hear this, they would say, you don't like it, play better. Because if you played better, then you're going to Double A, you're going to Triple A, and then you're eventually, going to be in the, in the show, in the big leagues. So it's the same thing in, business and stuff. Like you don't like it, play better. You don't like the money that's, coming in. You're in a position that if you play better, you perform better, you generate more, you're going to make more money. Yeah. Which somebody, at their normal 9 to 5, not to knock anybody doing.
I was going to say it's not like a normal
they're going
paycheck.
To get paid the same.
Yeah,
you can perform to the best. Now, if you do that, you're going to level up and get a better position. But
you're not going to put in the extra hours.
You can show up and just do whatever needs to be done, and your paycheck's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Us, if we don't perform, we're not getting paid. And then somebody in my industry, I don't get paid until the job is done. Yeah. And I had to perform that whole entire time.
Yeah.
And I had to perform very well to, get, like a referral from them or
because you provide the service. It's on you.
It's on me. Yeah. Exactly.
Not the boss, not the manager, you.
So that's kind of, that. So you don't like it, play better. And then, kind of like the results are what matters. But then at the same time, there's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself from that. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that me personally, I have to deal with is, kind of thinking about the man in the arena. There's a saying talking about the man in the arena, and you're the only one in the arena. Everybody's watching you, but it's on you.
Yeah.
So I kind of put a little bit more pressure on myself because I kind of think I should be here when like the market and everything is a little bit different. I see myself not there, and I think that I'm doing bad. Mm-hmm. When like in return, it's like, okay, well, what are the things that I can do every day to make those days win, and not only focus on the results. Because if you get too focused on the results and you have goals, it can be very easily to where you don't have goals, your goals have you. Yeah. So if you're too focused on your goals and you're not reaching them, you're just going to think like, I'm bad, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Versus like have goals. Okay, what are the things that I need to do in order to, like achieve these goals?
Yeah. Basically, so like be able to take a step back and just reassess and be able to navigate from like looking at yourself, bit, almost like how the crowd does.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the main thing that sports taught me that helps in entrepreneurship is like I said, to get there you have to have people help you along the way. Mm-hmm. So like who are your mentors? Who's helping you? Who is the advice that you're getting from? Yeah. Who are the people you're hanging around? Who is your environment?
Yeah, who's your counsel around you giving you any advice?
So the locker room in sports
is seek wise counsel.
Yeah, exactly. So like the locker room in sports is one of the most unique things that you can ever be a part of. It's one of the best, and that's the number one thing I'll miss about baseball is the locker room, is the boys, is the team. That environment when everybody has the same goal of wanting to be better, and not being a victim. That's one of the things that you can't really replicate. Yeah. And that's what
it's like your think take after the game and everyone's in the locker room.
Yeah. You can,
which is kind of like your team now in real estate, like being able to bring everyone together and listen and learn. And that's actually that's
where one. I'm very lucky and blessed to be where I'm at. At Iron Key, because we have that. Kind of like it's not like a locker room. Like it's a little bit different. Yeah, I can't talk about what I talk about locker room.
I want to be careful.
But then at the same time, everybody wants to get better and help everybody at the same time. So the environment that we have there is very, very successful, and that's why Iron Key is so successful. It starts from the top. Brandon has very high standards for himself, and it shows that everybody else better hold themselves to this. Yeah. But then there's help at the same time. Like, if you have a question or something, somebody's there. People show up to the office every day. People are there to work.
There's the pros there and the amateurs coming up. Yeah, and you want everyone to be good.
That are helping. Yeah, exactly. So having that environment and who you surround yourself with is one of the things that I learned from sports. Because I had some amazing coaches that came into my life that helped me teach me things that are bigger than baseball, or they were the ones that helped me get to AA, or eventually get to AAA, and eventually be better. So it's knowing the importance now that yes, you're the one putting in the work, and the results matter, and it's all on you. But there's people that are going to help you. So who are those mentors that you have in your life? Who do you surround yourself with? Who do you talk to? That is very, very important. Birds of a feather flock together. Yep. If you're hanging around losers, you're going to be a loser. If you're hanging around winners, you're going to be, a winner. Yeah. So one of the main things that I try to, do now to grow is, who are the other business owners that are there? Somebody owns a restaurant or somebody this. How can I help you? Yeah. Right? Like how can we grow together? Because in return, it's going to help me, right? Because if you see the value that I bring, if you need my services, then we can help at the same time. Yeah. And then the main reason that I love real estate so much is it's not just one thing to do and then you have like a ceiling to where you can cap out. Like you can take this thing to the moon if you want. Like there's so many different avenues that you can go to. When people hear about realtor or real estate agent or somebody that has a license or just like real estate in general, you think of buying a house. Yeah. You think of somebody helping you buy a house. Mm-hmm. And then some people don't even really know that the majority of our business, especially at Iron Key, our bread and butter is selling houses. We're very good at helping people net the most amount of money, right? Yeah. Some people just, I got to call a realtor to help me buy a house. And when they go to sell a house, what do we do? Well, it's that same realtor that's can help you sell it. Yeah. And then
I need this investment to pay out. Not everyone is just buying a house to move in and raise their family.
Yeah. So who's going to help you sell and make you net the most amount of money? Yeah. Right. Your house can sell for $750,000. You're not getting that. After you pay off your loans and all this, you might get a little bit. Mm-hmm. But who's going to help you see that little bit and maximize that net? Right. So most people think about houses, residential, but there's also land,
Because you do agriculture, commercial, which is a whole different ball game, I'm guessing, especially when it comes to investments, or if I'm going to stay here for my business or location or whatever it might be.
Exactly. So, anybody that has a real estate license and works under a licensed broker can help somebody buy a house, buy a commercial building, buy land. We can do it all. But there's people that, specialize, in residential, and then there's people that specialize in ag, and there's people that specialize in, commercial. Even though we can do them all, there's people that are good. You kind of have your bread and butter. You're like, what's your best pitch type thing? Yeah. Right. So Iron
and
Key.
Experience.
Exactly. So Iron Key,
which comes down to your team at Iron Key and having experience.
So it's mostly residential, but then Brandon also has the owner of Iron Key. We also have iKey Land and Investment Group, which is strictly ag and commercial. So all of the resources that
which is blowing up right now in the valley.
Exactly.
It's nonstop.
So that has all the resources that we need to be successful in the ag space and the commercial space. Contracts are a little bit different. The market is completely different. The consumers are completely different.
Timing, just kind of everything.
So we have a specialized brokerage to give the most value and perform with the best of our ability at that side too. So I can help somebody buy a house, sell a house. We have all the resources in the market to do that. But then I can also help somebody buy a piece of farmland, sell a piece of farmland, buy a commercial building, or sell a commercial building.
Yeah.
We have all the resources to do them both at a very high level because it's a little bit different, right? You can't.
I'm guessing like underwriting. I do insurance, so I'm guessing underwriting. All that's completely different.
Completely different, right? So let's say for example, an appraisal on the house might take you a week. You might get it back in like 2 or 3 days, depending on how busy they are.
Yeah,
and it's $200, $300. Do the appraisal, comes back pretty easy. Ag land, which I do a lot more ag than commercial on this side. Right now, I have houses listed, I have ag listed, and I have a commercial listed to sell. All different. They need different ways to go about them to get them done. So but
you need a good team if you've got 3 things going at once.
Exactly. Ag appraisal is going to take you 4 to 6 weeks to get back. So
wow.
Appraisal on a house could take you a week.
Yeah.
Ag appraisal is going to take you 4 to 6 weeks. This costs you a couple $100. An ag appraiser is probably going to cost you $5,000.
Wow.
Because they're going to look at the water, they're going to look at the production, they're going to look at the soil, everything, because that bank is going to want to know what they're investing in. Yeah. Right. So banks invest in people to buy houses, and the value of that house is based on comps, other houses that have sold in the area.
Yeah.
Banks invest in the land and the building and also the person a little bit to want to know if that's a good investment for their money. Right. So the house, can this person pay their bills? Ag and commercial, can this building investment make enough money for us to be paid back?
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of the commercial lenders and underwriters are going to look at the tenants and the credit of the tenant. Right. Is it somebody who's been in business for 2 or 3 years, 5 years? Is it like a big business that's there?
Yeah.
They're gonna lend money cheaper. You might get a 4 or 5% interest rate on a commercial building that has 2 great tenants that are on a 15-year lease because they see their money is going to be paid back. So we'll lend you money at this.
Yeah.
A commercial building that has 5 units, half of them are vacant, and then 2 is a mom and pop shop that's struggling. The bank's not going to give you as much money.
Yeah, not a great business plan to come in with.
Yeah, so that's just as far as like the money and where it's coming
from,
which is
completely different than buying a house.
Completely different.
Totally different underwriting and
due diligence is different, right? You have your inspection period on a house. You're gonna have a lot more due diligence on a big commercial building or ag land or something like that. So these just take a little bit longer, a little bit more moving parts.
Yeah, because they don't want to go. If you fail, they don't want to go through the loan process again and all that. So.
But then at the same time, you have to have knowledge of being able to get the job done even if this scenario doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
So like I give an example. I sold a piece of ag property last year. It was 20 acres. It had almonds on it, but the almonds were leased out to a farmer. So it was completely different. And the lender was having a lot of trouble going back and forth with the farmer about what they had in the lease. And we were at like 6 weeks, nothing was getting done. So we basically kind of pulled the plug on the loan and just did a seller finance deal that worked out for the buyer and the seller. So the seller carried the note. They gave him a, pretty big down payment at, 6.5% amortized over 30 years, payout after 5 years. Whatever we structured there. You got to work a
sweet deal for both sides at that point.
You can still get the job done, right? Yeah. So there's not one way to do, to get a job done. So like ag and commercial, you got to be a little bit more creative. Residential, it's pretty simple. I say simple, not easy. It's, very, very straightforward, but a lot tougher at the same time. Residential's all emotion. Ag and commercial is all numbers. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So you got to be more creative to get those numbers to make sense. Over here, you have to understand that family's why. Why do you like this property? Why are you selling this property? Is it for your kids? This or that? Yeah. You have to understand what they want, what they like. Do you want to be near a certain
school or whatever it might be?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of work that goes up front in our world to make sure that we have the right answers to know exactly what our clients want to do. Yeah. It's a little bit different than, hey, can I see this house? Oh, yeah, let's see it. Let's write an offer. What do you think? Well, no, let's come in and sit down. Do you have a family? Have you ever bought a house before? Did you use an agent?
Because you're going to be here for a while.
Yeah. Or is this a stepping stone? Yeah. Or is it an investment property, right? Have you ever bought a house before? Okay, what did you like about that process? What did you not like about that process? What would you like to do different about this? Making them feel a little bit more comfortable about a big purchase. And then at the same time, the guy that's investing in commercial, okay, well, what other buildings do you want? What's the cap rate that you want? Yeah. How much cash do you have? Do you want to find, it's a lot different. So understanding where your end goal is and then working back from there and investing that time up front is going to help save you a lot of time and money at the back end and then close, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is you get an escrow on a house, crap hits the fan, and then now you don't close. Yeah. Now that seller's got to pay a couple more mortgage payments. The buyer missed out on a house because you couldn't come to an agreement over $1,200 pest inspection, right? Wow, but if you know their why from the beginning and what they want, then you can be okay. Like you said that you wanted this house because it has a big backyard, and you could play catch with your son. Is that something that you really want to give up over $1,200? Yeah. We can get that down to lower, and then kind of bring them into reality. Like, okay, yeah, you're right. Thank you. So there's a lot more to know about the person and what they want versus just showing a house, getting them good terms and everything. You want them to be happy and enjoy it. And at the same time, if something happens in 6 months or, a year, I want them to call me. Hey, what do I do with this? Hey, do you know any, person that can fix this, fix that? Yeah, I got you. Here, they'll take care of you. Like somebody just the other day, I was at a wedding. Hey, you have anybody that can, clean our solar panels? Like, we don't, like our solar company, we don't do
you're part of the family now. You're their go-to guy.
Yeah, I got you. This guy will take fun of you.
Yeah.
He'll take good care of you. It's like a, young, hungry person that's trying to build their business at the same time.
Hey, we got termites. Do you know a guy for this? Or hey, we got that. Or, my neighbor got termites. I need to make sure that.
So I want to give the people buying a house a list of things, people that they can call to help. And then at the same time, I'm going to tell them.
Because issues come up once you buy a house.
It does. And I want you to be able to, have, I'll be your realtor for life.
Yeah.
We'll meet and go over your real estate holdings every year. Yeah. It's not just like, a one-time hit it and quit it type thing, right? Like we're married to this.
Sounds
deal,
bad,
right?
but I got a lot of relationships going on. I'm not just a hit it and quit it guy.
Yeah. In our business, you want a lot, but you want a lot of good relationships that they're going to see you as their realtor for life. Yeah. So if they see something on the news, they call me.
Get those texts at midnight, and it's like, oh man, everyone's got my cell phone number. But.
Yeah, and then to go back to like the vendors list with like the contractors or the handymans, like I want to know how they did.
Yeah.
Right. Like did they show up on time? Did they do the job? Did they charge you a fair fee? Because if they didn't, and they screwed somebody, they're not going to be on my vendors list for very long.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to make sure that people have bad days and stuff like that. That's not it. But
hey, be better.
Exactly.
Do better.
We want to provide something that's going to make them feel comfortable and not just, having to rely on ChatGPT to figure out how to clean out their gutters. Right. Call me. I got a guy. He'll come out and clean your gutters for you for cheap. Yeah. So that's the biggest difference when it comes to resi and, residential houses and then commercial ag and stuff like that. You have to be able to be, prepared to handle all of them, but they're all a little bit different, and it makes it fun.
Yeah.
Like doing a deal at last second, you don't really want to have to do anything crazy to save a deal or put out fires. We never want to. But when you do that and you like pull it off and everybody's happy, it just makes the whole thing better. Almost like it's coming down to the 9th inning, bases loaded. It's like
you got to perform under pressure.
Yeah, we didn't want to be here. We would have liked to just had an easy win. Yeah. But that win and that celebration, like when you walk off, is so much more fun than you won by 5. We barely pulled it off, guys. Over.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's I like it. I'm very blessed to be surrounded by a lot of really good people and have a lot of, really good mentors early, people that have done it for a long time at a very high level, that aren't only successful in real estate, but they're great husbands, they're great fathers, they're in the community, they hold themselves to a high standard. Those are the people that I want to learn from and be like. I know people in this industry, they make a bunch of money, but they're not good people. They're very successful in this space.
It's the same thing in life insurance. It's like there's transactional people, and then there's people, like everyone has my cell phone number. And they go, hey, do I call this? I go, because for me, it's dealing with deaths or people who have, disabilities and they want to pull cash. And it's like they're going through the worst time. You're giving them the best time of their life. People usually call me later. Usually when I get a call and I'm like, I remember this guy, it's usually not a good call.
Yeah.
So it's like cell phone. You don't want to be, at least in our fields, insurance and being a realtor, there's the guys that are just transactional. And then there's the guys that are like, hey, I'm going to send you this. You call me. I get texts at 11 o'clock at night. Hey, can you run a quote for this? Or, hey, did I have this on my policy? And I'll get back to him first thing in the morning. But that's the hard part. I don't think a lot of people are ready for that, like the phone calls and oh man, I thought I was done and getting paid. And it's like, man, they're calling me every month. It's like, hey, you sold them the house. Things happen or they got questions. It's like, it just is what it is.
And nor like I don't know it all. Nor do I ever really feel like I want to know it all. Right? Like the more, kind of like the older I get and the farther I get in this life, and the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it's an opportunity to learn more, it's like, wow, like I don't know so much. That's so great.
Yeah.
Right. But like when you're younger, like in your 20s, or a teenager, you think you know it all.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you don't know anything.
So it's like less stressful because you're like, I know it all. But as you get older, you're like, oh, man.
So then like, like the more you learn in this industry and like the more success that you've had, I've been able to have, really good success being in the business for not as long as, some of the people, but it's also, like, what is your bandwidth? Like, like how much can you handle? Like there's some people that have a lot of success early and then now they have, too many clients and now they're doing, like a bunch of mediocre work.
Yeah.
Like if I have too much going on, I gotta pull back. Like, or maybe, I gotta get, an assistant or I gotta hire somebody else because everybody's still gotta have that, great service to be, successful. So it's a tough industry and it's probably the worst time for me to get into it. Like the market hasn't been great. Not that the market's not great. People have tons of equity. Buyers are getting great deals. But as, being in the business, this is the lowest transaction the last 3 years that we've had.
But there are people always, it's like when people tell me, like a lot of agents will take December off. And I'm like, December is one of my busiest months.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Like, there's holidays. Yes, there's people are shopping and spending money, but they're also with family, which makes them remember like, oh yeah, I should get life insurance or whatever. I'm like, my phone does not turn off
Here's
in December.
Here's your Christmas present.
I'm like, no, I'm like getting never, but you have to be Google, Facebook, Instagram, always sending the emails out, always just doing everything you can. So when people say, oh, it's a terrible time to be a realtor, I'm like, I know some guys that are doing great. Because they've been that guy, so they get the referral. They're always top of mind. They're always that person that's like, oh, this guy took care of me. Always picked up the phone or whatever it might be. So when people always say like the auto industry, oh, it's a bad time. I know some guys that are doing great in the auto industry. It just depends on who you are. Same thing with sports. Depends on who you are, and you either got it or you don't.
And I think that some people will have bad experiences and just put them all in a collective or something. Like the used car salesman. People think of like a car salesman. They just think of somebody scamming you out of something.
It gives everyone in sales a bad reputation. It's like, oh.
But at the same time, when you bought a car from a guy and he did a great job, I'm going back to that guy.
Yeah.
Like I bought a new truck last year, and I didn't go shopping at this and that, like, oh, hey, where's the best deal? I called the guy that I bought all my other cars for. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. What do you got?
Yeah.
We didn't even talk price. What are you looking to spend? What do you want? Well, this is where my budget is, and this. And it's like, you know what? I think I can get you this. And then sends me a pic. Hey, this just came off the truck. Good. Drove down there, picked it up. Everything was done.
Yeah.
Because I trust that, based on the previous experiences and stuff, that everything is going to happen.
Yeah, they're not going to screw you, or like they're going to, like my guy, every time I get my family, we all basically get our trucks from the same guy, because he'll be like, I'm going to ship it in from this city. I'm like, dang, really? He's like, yeah, we worked out a deal, don't worry about it. I already know he probably took a little less commission, but he found me the truck I wanted. Mm-hmm. So like, we always go back to him.
Yeah.
Because we all know like that's a good guy.
Yeah, or if something happens, hey, that's not going on. Oh yeah, well,
yeah,
bring it in, we'll take care of it. Like when you buy a new car, they're gonna.
Oh yeah, especially all the cars
it's like
nowadays.
Under warranty. But if somebody's honest, you have that relationship. Hey, I see these things. A lemon law or something like that. Like if it comes in one more time, like we'll set you up and get. Yeah. Because they're honest about it. Like some can be like, oh no, it's fine. The worker, like you don't really know. Like there's good people, there's bad people.
Especially nowadays, like I'll talk to my guy and be like, hey, what do you think about this one? And he'd be like, don't get that year. And I'm like, really? He's like, no, that year, not for that. For this year, get the diesel. And he's like, I'm not trying to upsell. He's like, I'll show you he's like, those ones come in. Oh, he's like, they didn't really get it that year. This is the one you want. I'm like, okay. And save me some time.
Yeah, and that's somebody that's doing the research.
I don't have time to Google all day.
Yeah, they know their job. Like they're in the market. They're listening to the market. One of the things that we have to do is, yes, we talk about the market and like the real estate market and the numbers and the prices and stuff, but the market, is your consumer. What are the consumers saying? What are buyers saying? What are sellers saying?
Yeah.
Right. So when we put a house on the market or anything, we have to listen to what the market is doing now.
Yeah.
What is the market saying? Like what's going on in the entire market that's going to affect, this. And you have to listen to the market. If you're not, you're going to get beat up. Like you can't expect to get a price just because you got it 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Right. What is the market saying now about your specific market, your specific neighborhood, your specific, buyer? Mm-hmm. Like what are they saying?
Yeah, interest rates, everything. Like timing's everything at that point.
Yeah, a lot more goes into
it.
So
the market's basically your audience in baseball.
Yes.
Like basically.
Yes, that is the market. Yeah. So I think that's where
you got to please the masses, and it's all about timing at that point.
Yeah. And I think that's where we, as real estate professionals and realtors can do better by listening to the market. What is the market saying? Go out and talk to people. What are they hearing? Well, that's not really true, and this is why.
People get on YouTube and they think they know it all, and it's like, that's not what's really happening right now. We live here, they live there, and everything's just
exactly. Or like because houses go up in value over time, but they really, to be honest, they haven't the last couple years. People have tons of equity, but they shot up so high after COVID that some sellers think that their house is worth a lot more than it is. And with transactions being so low, people are trying to get the business just because they don't have it.
Yeah,
so a lot of agents will take a listing when they know that it's priced a little bit too high, just because they need that listing. Yeah, and they'll hopefully talk them down, or they got their sign in front, or it'll get more business. But I think we can all do a better job of listening to the market and being honest about what the market is saying to our clients.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, yes. I agree, the market is saying this, but based on the numbers and how many days on market your house has been on and where it's going, it's actually closer to this price. And just showing them the numbers of what the market's saying.
Well, it says this, but everyone left that area to go to Texas, or no one's moving here, or whatever it might be.
And if you use numbers and stats and data to prove it, they can't disprove it. Right? Some people, I think my house is worth $1 million. You know what? I do agree. Like you put a lot more. But
it was what is 6 months ago.
So are you willing to sell it for fair market value? Well, what is that? Fair market value is what a seller is willing to pay and what a buyer is willing to buy for, right? Your house might be worth because you put this,
But Redfin told me it's worth this.
Yeah, or you've over-upgraded your house. Yeah, I agree. It probably is worth more, but this is what a buyer is willing to pay for in our market based on the numbers.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I think
some people don't like to hear that either.
I think a lot of people in our industry are taking those listings because they don't have as much business, and it's kind of hurting the market because now you have a lot of slightly overpriced houses, and buyers are very, very picky, and they don't want those houses. So now houses are sitting longer, and then like, oh, well, the market's crashing. It's like, no, it's not. Your house just isn't worth the $20,000 more than you.
It's not crashing. It's just adjusting.
Yes, to where if we were just honest about it, sorry, your house is not worth $550. The data is saying it's worth $520.
Yeah,
let's list at $520. If everybody did that, I feel like the market would be moving a lot more. And that's the
humans are greedy though. That's never going to happen.
And but that's the tricky part about how quick it went up. People have the equity. And they want to sell, or they don't have the equity. Maybe they just bought 3 or 4 years ago, and their margins are very tight.
Yeah.
So I think it's just very important to see what the market is doing. It's the first thing I do when I get into the office this morning, or in the morning. I get into the MLS. I see what's there. How many price reductions, how many new listings, how many expired listings. You kind of see what the market is doing. So when we have clients call, I know exactly what the market is doing. Well, shoot, we only have like 4 listings come up today like that, you kind of see what the options going. And the more you're in the market, the more you're listening to the market, the better job you can do for your people.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge one. And entrepreneurs coming into this space or any other space, being an entrepreneur, it's everyone has, mine's a little bit different. My market is people's health. So people, well, I got this quote from this guy. Yeah, but you didn't tell me you're diabetic. That's not your price. It's the exact same thing for real estate, but you guys are looking more at the market. I'm looking more at the person, and people, sometimes they don't like to hear that, but you got to just help them navigate.
Hard, because I remember when
like you said, you got to show them like, listen, I'm not lying to you. This is the best. No one else is going to take you,
Because I remember you came to the office and, spoke about it a little bit with, it's based, your guys' rates are based on the person and their health, right?
My credit check is your human credit check. Like how many medications you on.
One of the things that's tricky for you, and I feel that you did a really good job at, is like they go based on like your weight, But
one of the biggest factors.
Yeah. So if somebody's 6'3", super athletic, and they weigh 215, 225 pounds, based on the numbers, they're considered overweight or like a health risk, right? Yeah. So it's like you're supposed to weigh this much, and it's like, well, this person that weighs 220 is actually way healthier than the other person.
Yeah.
And I feel like you did a very good job of like understanding, like they're gonna put this person into a category, and the rates might be different, but you I can't remember what you said, but it was to get people to understand that like it's not only based on the weight. Like there's more that you can do. Like, hey, like this guy's athletic. He has more muscle to still get them to good rate based on not just
a lot of agents don't realize like you have to really talk to the underwriters, and that's why you got to have a lot of carriers nowadays. Like I have 2 people. I had 2 brothers, pretty much the exact same profile, except one raced. Was racing out in the desert basically. So he's considered like in a different. They're like, well, I thought it was just my health. I'm like, well, you also have risky hobbies. You race, part of your income is racing out in the desert. Your price went up a little more. And people don't realize like all those little things going, bankruptcies, felonies, DUIs. Like, well, I'm perfectly healthy. I'm like, but you're a risk.
Risky
you're a little bit riskier to the company. But for you guys, it's the underwriting is, well, your credit's not great.
Yeah.
That's how all those things add up. They're just looking at your credit check as a person. Pretty much, because especially when you're getting $1 million of coverage, and like you said, selling a home versus resident, there's just a whole different ball game. $1 million versus 10 million, you're going through different channels now, and you have to have the experience and the
options
and the team behind you, to say, hey, we need this, we're going to get this sent out. We connected, we reached out. They're going to request an EKG because of his age or whatever it might be. It's like, but if you don't have that experience or a good team behind you, going right back to sports, and you don't know how to communicate with your team, it's like, okay, well, you dropped the ball and that guy just went somewhere else and you just lost out on that. So it's like, well, good going on that. We all just dropped the ball. It's all of our faults. Be better. next time, you know?
yeah, be better.
It all comes back to be better.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the tough things too, is if like something goes wrong, it's really hard to look back at yourself and just say like, all right, what did I do?
Yeah.
Because like
I should have trained my team better on this.
Yeah. And it's just naturally as like a human kind of hard to do, like, you know, like when stuff goes bad.
Yeah.
To, you know, like blame yourself. It's you know, like the good ones do it, but you lose, you just want to feel bad. Like, oh, you lost.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to be happy. Oh yes, I lost, but I knew that I did this wrong. And next time, if you have that, like great, but nobody has. Like you like as a competitor, you got to be upset for a little bit and be like, dang, okay, well, what could I have done a little bit better? Okay, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Yeah. I don't want to feel that pain again. And then so the more you fail, the more you learn. That's why, you know, the best thing that you can do in life is fail, and you never really learn. You never lose. Mm-hmm. You always win. You win or you learn. Yeah. Right? You only lose.
Yeah, you don't lose, you learn.
Yeah. So, you know, you fail, you learn something from it, you get a little bit better. So you can't be afraid to try things because you're going to fail and learn. But it sucks going into something being like, dang, like, am I going to fail?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants that. Mm-hmm. But you know, the more you get into something, the more you're going to learn, the more you're going to get out of it, and the more joy you're going to bring to your life, right?
Yeah.
The more experiences you have, you're gonna enjoy more.
Yeah, yeah, and then it just depends on what you want to do with those experiences. You know, you get all the silly cliches. You know, people put stuff on their wall. You know, every strike is a closer to your home run, but it's like, it's kind of true. It like all these little things we say to our kids, it's like we forget as adults. You know, it's like, oh, I lost. It's like, well, you didn't lose, you learned, and it's like, yeah, okay, we're going back to the very basics now. As an adult, like this is how I talk to my kid. I have to talk to myself sometimes. You know.
Yeah, and you kind of also have to understand, you know, kind of like the season that you're in. Yeah. I remember you mentioned something about Tony Robbins earlier, and a lot of the things that I learned about life and business and sports and you know masculinity, femininity, and marriage and life, I learned from Tony Robbins. Yeah. I had a Tony Robbins coach when I was playing for a little bit.
Oh wow.
And then I had you know, I had like the mental strength coaches that, you know, you had from baseball. One of our guys trained the Army Rangers.
Wow.
You know, to go off. So I learned, and I kind of got into personal development too after I had Tommy John, because I wanted to come back, and I was doing all this because I wanted to get good at baseball. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get to the big leagues. I thought that, you know, where was the edge that I can get?
A lot of it's probably mental at that point too.
Exactly, and all the training that I was doing, I thought was for baseball, but it was actually for life, right? It was for being a good dad, a good husband, you know, a good entrepreneur, just living life, whatever the life you want to live, mm-hmm. understanding what that is, what success is for you, yeah. and what you want. Most people don't know what they want unless they've tried and failed and gone, right? So one of the couple of things that I learned from, you know, having that coach and stuff is like the seasons of life that we're in. Just like you have seasons in, you know, for weather, or, you know, during the year, it's cold, it rains, it snows, it's hot, you know, like leaves fall. You have things change, and you have different seasons in life. Yeah. Like you and I are in a completely different season than somebody who's like in their mid-20s that doesn't have kids.
Planting seeds versus
exactly,
all that
or
stuff.
Completely different. And you know, like a grandparent that's, you know, enjoying their grandkids. Like, so understanding what season in life we are at, and not to compare ourselves to this person that is in a completely different scenario. Yeah. Right. Like I can't compete with this person, you know, in the business of, you know, real estate, when they have no kids, they're single, that's all they do. They don't have any hobbies. Mm-hmm. They're just, you know, crushing it. And I have, you know, kids, a family, you know, like I'm starting something. I just ended
Time's
something.
Time's a little restricted, all that stuff.
It is completely different. So we can't, you know, compare. We have to learn more, you know, like how to compete. You know, like competition's good. I can't compare myself to somebody who's been in the business, that's, you know, done, you know, tons and tons of business and knows every single thing, but I can compete with myself and other people
learn from
to
them.
How to get better. Yeah. So like, you know, seasons in life are a little bit different. And one thing that one of the big things that I learned that I think helps me with like marriage and kids and stuff is that I learned from them is, like the goal of the husband and then like the wife, not to say like, oh, wives do this, cook and clean, and like it's not that, but like masculine men and a feminine woman, we're completely different. Yeah. And our job as men is we're like that oak tree, right? Like our roots go down deep and we're strong. Women a little bit can, sometimes be the storm. Yep. Things can go down. You have to be that oak tree for them. A storm's going to come sometimes, but you can't get uprooted. You got to sit there and wear it. And then if that storm went a little bit crazy, you better grow your roots even farther to be a little bit more stronger. Yeah. And it's kind of your job. And like I see it as a man, it's like, going back to the nobody cares. I don't expect people to, care about me. This is just me personally. Some people I need some coddling every once in a while. I need somebody to tell me that I'm doing good. Okay. But my focus is how do I become that big, strong oak tree for my kids, for my wife, for my business, for my clients? Like, how can I in turn not let anything affect me? Or how can I show that? Like something goes wrong, like with an escrow or something, how do I not take that home? Yeah. How do I not lead that over? Or something, I had a, stressful time with my kids trying to get them dressed in the morning to drop off at their grandma. How do I not let that blow over, right? Yeah. How do I do everything the same, right? How we do anything is how we do everything. How do I grow strong enough in the 4 or 5 things that I want to be successful at, right? So, I have, and people should like identify what success is for them, what they want out of life, and then cater their life and practice to that, right? Like I'm no longer playing. I'm not going to train to throw a ball hard anymore, right? Like I'm going to train to be a good dad, or do like different things. So understand like the season that you're in that moment, and how can you get better from it. And I'm not like a big hoorah, like motivational guy. Like I've had all that. I've played all the sports and everything. I want like good people in my life that I'm going to learn something from, that
everyone has to bring a little value at this point, because there's only so much time in the day. Yeah, and me and my friends, the friends that I used to hang out with compared to now, like we talk about much different things than what I was talking about 5-10 years. Like 100%. There's got to be some value nowadays, because there's only so much time.
And your friends change a little bit too. Yeah, a lot of my friends now are parents around the same age, and we try to associate ourselves with people that have the same values and principles that we have. And I think that you're just going to if you know who you are and honest with yourself, you're going to attract those type of people in your life. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it's like like joy. What brings you joy? I think that's the most important thing. Not really happiness, but like joy, like true joy. And kids are a big part of it. They're hard. They're a pain in the butt most of the time, but they bring you more joy than anything else really.
It's always totally worth it, especially for the people that are like, I don't want kids, and because that's where I was when I was younger. But oh my gosh, now I can't imagine not having kids. I'm like, man, what do I do with the rest of my day now? I'm used to chasing and coaching and telling these kids what to do and learn from my mistakes. And it's like, man, I don't even know what I would do with the other half of my time.
Yeah, coaching. Yeah, that's got me. We run a tight ship in T-ball too. Yeah, we're
like it's like coaching, a joke. Hey, don't do that. Be careful of doing that. Yeah. If you do this, you're gonna get hurt. Like it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's fun at the end of the day. I don't know where like the whole coaching thing will like lead me. I always said that I didn't want to, but I kind of like enjoyed it. And then I also, I kind of realized that I do have some more to offer than I thought. I don't really know where that would lead me, but I have enjoyed. Well, I don't really enjoy T-ball practice because I can't get the kids to listen to me. But the games and and the moments and the kids that I'm doing it with and their parents, I've enjoyed that aspect of it.
Especially when you see results later, you're like, oh, they're getting it.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, game by game with the kids because they learn so fast. But Yeah, I don't know how to get them to not fight over the ball when it comes.
Yeah.
But they'll get older, they'll do it.
Those first couple of games are rough.
But yeah,
fighting their own teammates, and everyone's just laughing at that point.
Yeah, and to get the kids to, enjoy it. I think if they enjoy it young, they'll want to play when it gets older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many kids want to play when sports get hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you like the aspect of the locker room, the players winning, competition, training. But it is hard. And I don't think sports is for everybody at the higher level, like high school and above.
Yeah.
It might not be.
Well, and that's where it does start to separate everyone, which is kind of nice because it teaches you in life, like, you are going to get separated. Who's here to work, who's not. Either got it or you don't, or work a little harder, or whatever it is. Especially as an entrepreneur, it's like no one's going to call you and tell you what to do. This isn't a 9 to 5. Depending on what type of entrepreneur you are, but it's like you got to go out there and figure it out.
I wish somebody would tell me what to do. So
yeah.
we don't always
some days,
figure it out.
Because people call me and you're like, I'm not crazy successful, but like people say, what do you do on these days? Or I'll get newer guys that want to come in under me, and I'm like, honestly, man, like I don't train a lot of guys. Like I'm not that type of. I'm not the manager that's going to call you every moment. Like, this is what I do. I can tell you my kind of day, but it changes all the time.
Yeah.
And there's some days where I'm like, I just sit here and stare. I'm like, oh, what should I do today?
You try not to get as many of those days stacked up as possible.
But it happens to everybody, People, but on Instagram, everyone looks so successful, and it's like, I'm struggling. It's like, no, trust me. They're struggling too. They just smile on the camera. Trust me. I talk to these guys, and it's like, we're always brainstorming, coming up with ideas, where can we, hit this market, or it's definitely different being an entrepreneur, which is where sports will really teach you, like, okay, you need to either practice more, which is at least for my what I do, it's like, you just gotta be more creative sometimes than the other guy. You gotta, like you said, get up, see where the market's at, what kind of video can I make today, and teach somebody something where they're like, oh, I should call this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, having the mentors that, to be able to lean on a little bit. I don't think anybody does it by themselves. Like, no. You talk to the most successful people in the world, they're always going to tell you, I had a mentor, I had this person help me or teach me, or I read this book, went to this seminar, whatever. Like, it's you learn from somebody.
That's why there's so many life coaches on Instagram.
Yeah,
everyone needs. It's like, hey man, find someone you like. Buy their little ebook. Do
and everybody has different levels, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's some people that are helping, businesses that are, doing over 100 million.
Yeah.
There's people that are helping, a mom lose, 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, there's
some people just need a little push, or like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
People walk into the gym and go, what do I do? And so, yeah, as long as it's making you better, that's really all that matters.
It's true.
Yeah. But man, I think we'll probably wrap on that. I know you got to probably get back to work. We'll end on that. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you.
Flies by, huh? Pretty. That's why I was like, we'll just kind of go with the flow and try not to go over 3 hours, because it starts flying
especially
by.
Me, I'll get excited about something, start talking. Then my mom comes out in me. My mom's one that she'll get to talk a little bit.
That's why.
My dad's super
I
quiet.
Put a timer
my mom,
on. Yeah,
I know.
That's why I have to have a timer, because I'll just keep going till these cameras die, basically.
No, it was good.
We'll have to do it again, man. Yeah,
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. Well, where can we? Are you on Instagram? Where can people find you at? We'll
put so Instagram, where you want to see all the fun stuff, roping, baseball, kids. It's Ty_Perez. That's my personal one, and then Presidential. Presidential RE is my real estate page, where we do all that.
That links to your website. And
that
all
links
stuff.
to everything there. Yeah, okay. You can also go to presidentialre.com. If you want to learn anything, about me, or send an inquiry, or look up houses and stuff.
Cool.
Everything's there. And then if anybody has any questions for me or anything, you can
private coaching, hit you.
Yeah, the lessons thing I get asked. I was gonna say, you probably get asked a lot, and not that I don't want to do them. I just feel that there's people that are better at me.
Yeah.
People that do it for a living, that do have the technology, that have the facility. So if somebody, like, I'll send them to people that I know is going to do exactly what I'm going to do, but better. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to charge you or help you if I know somebody is going to be able to do it better than me.
No, I know a lot of athletes, and they're like, man, I always get DMs for. They're like, I don't have the time, man. Like, I can't be out there for hours every week.
I'm starting to like it more. The more I'm out of baseball, and the more I'm kind of getting into, kind of to coaching, or just seeing like kids, the more I kind of, enjoy helping. When you're playing, it's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
It's the last thing you want to do.
It's just time.
You just want to get away from baseball.
You want to coach your kid and then call it a day. Just comes down to the time.
I do enjoy it. But yeah, if anybody needs anything from me, I'm an open book about anything.
Awesome, man. Well, I will put your links in the bottom there. And thanks for coming on again, man. We'll probably have to do it again because I don't think we hit on some of the things I wanted to ask you. So we'll do it again pretty soon, man.
Let's do it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on the next one. That's why I have to put a timer. Me and my buddy Alex, I was like, dude, it's been 3 hours. Like, that camera would die.
Really?
That's when we would stop because that camera would die.